No More Heroes 3, more like no longer a Nintendo Switch exclusive 3. Okay, if you haven't heard, No More Heroes 3 is coming out on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 11th. I played the game on PlayStation 5, this being my second time after completing the original Nintendo Switch version, which I reviewed and gave a rating of liked a lot. It was not a perfect game in any sense of the word, but it offered enough for me to really enjoy the whole package. And after a few hours with the PS5 port, I'm happy to say that this will be my primary way to play No More Heroes 3 from now on. However, does that mean it's worth buying a second time if you've already played it on Switch? Are there enough changes to make this feel like a substantial upgrade? That's what I'm here to tell you. And let's start with the one thing I'm sure you're all curious about: the graphics. No More Heroes 3 originally launched on Nintendo Switch, which meant that it was running on severely limited horsepower, and some visual elements suffered as a result. Still, I was impressed that the combat ran at a mostly smooth 60 frames per second. But this did not translate to the open world, which had a choppy frame rate, muddy visuals, and a weak draw distance. I was really looking forward to see how it would run on the much more powerful PlayStation 5, and I'm pleased to report that it runs great at 4K 60 FPS. Other visual enhancements include higher quality textures, a bit more foliage, and minor lighting adjustments that make areas engulfed in shadow look brighter. These changes are also reflected in the smaller spaces, with the high-res textures being the most noticeable improvement. So yes, the open world in No More Heroes 3 unsurprisingly looks and runs better on PS5 than Switch, but it's still the same exact world for better and worse. Even though the PS5 can support more cars and NPCs in the world, there appear to be the same amount as in the Switch version, so it still looks very much barren. And while the high-res textures are appreciated, they don't do a whole lot to make the environments look better than they do on Switch. So essentially, you're getting the same open world on PS5 as you did on Switch, but with flawless performance and slightly better visuals. Truthfully, this applies to the rest of No More Heroes 3 on PS5. You're getting the same exact game as you did on Switch, but at 4K 60 FPS with some minor graphical improvements. On one hand, this is to be expected. It's not like a port of No More Heroes 3 was going to be a completely different game, but a part of me was hoping that the open world areas would feel more lively on PlayStation 5, and they just don't. It's as if they put the Switch port of the game on PC, cranked the graphics settings up to max, and didn't do much else. Though I found after putting the Switch and PS5 footage side by side that the cutscenes on PS5 have way more detail, with backgrounds no longer out of focus and some objects being there that weren't there previously. Even if I wouldn't have noticed this without comparing them side by side, it's a neat addition that makes the cutscenes that much better. But surely, there must be other features on PS5 beyond the minor visual tweaks, no? Well, there's the haptic feedback on the triggers that give resistance when driving the motorcycle, and that's about all I've noticed there. In short, there isn't much that separates the PS5 version of No More Heroes 3 from its original Switch version. And that really isn't a bad thing. You're still getting the same game that was on Switch, but with better performance and visuals, even if the latter is only slightly more improved. So with that, I'm rather mixed on No More Heroes 3's PS5 version. It's still the same game that I like a lot on Switch, but it isn't a huge improvement worth spending another $60 on. With that in mind, if this is going to be your first time playing No More Heroes 3 and you've already beaten the previous games, then this is totally worth picking up. Now then, are you going to check out No More Heroes 3 on PS5, or was the Switch version good enough for you? Let me know in the comments below, and check out the videos on the right for more topics you might be interested in. Until next time, bye.